This lesson is about non-count nouns. So we're looking at some common non-count nouns, and to help everybody out with this, I'm going to give you some categories. There's 7 categories that non-count nouns fall into. So I'm going to draw a table here, and we're going to start with a couple of these categories. The first category that non-count nouns fall into are things that are whole, made of smaller parts. These are things like sand, rice, sugar. So sand, rice, sugar, they're things that we talk about as a whole, but they're made up of tiny, tiny individual parts. So we call these non-count. The next category that we're going to take a look at is foods that can be purchased in different forms. Foods that can be purchased in different forms, like meat, bread, fruit, coffee, milk. So we could say like a kilo of bread, or a kilo of meat, a loaf of bread. So there's different ways we can purchase these. So that's our second category. Our third category here is going to be substances that change shape. Substances that change shape, like water, oil, gas. So things that change shape. Wind, rain. Our fourth category now, there's 7 categories in total. So our fourth category is going to be groups of things that have different shapes and sizes. The most common one for this is clothes. Also furniture. We can talk about luggage as well. So there's, for example, clothes has many different shapes and sizes, like pants, shirts, socks. But we talk about them as a whole as clothes, and we talk about them as a whole, they're uncountable. The 5th category, pretty easy one, languages. Languages are uncountable, so we say French, Spanish, English. These are uncountable. The next one, getting close to the end here, so I'm trying to save some space. The next one that we have that we're going to talk about is ing forms of nouns. For example, learning, working. When we see that ing on there, we know that it's non-count. It's a non-count or uncountable noun. And then the last one that we're going to take a look at are abstract ideas. I'm going to give you a hint. These abstract ideas often end with things like ness, they often have these endings. So we're looking at efficiency, progress, beauty, advice. These things that are abstract, that don't have a countable form. Now, there are times when we actually do need to make these countable. So what we do when we need to make them countable is we use something. For example, we say a bar, for example, a bar of chocolate. A slice, for example, a slice of bread. A piece, we also say a piece of bread. We also say a piece of advice. I'm going to write that. We have a piece of advice. And we also say glass, like a glass of milk, a glass of water, game, or a cube. So these are kind of the common ways that we make them countable. A piece of advice, a glass of milk. We also have the, obviously we have the things like a kilo or a gallon, like a gallon of milk or a kilo of meat. So we have these other ways to make them countable. So there are ways to make non-countable nouns countable. We just don't add the S at the end. I hope this helps to categorize and that you have more better idea of how to use non-count nouns. Stay tuned for our next video. Thanks and have a good day.